Thank you very much. Hi, everyone, and welcome to my talk on Let's Hash, a website that we developed to help developers with password security. My name is Geierhaas, and I worked on this paper together with my co-authors Anna-Marie Ortloff, Matthew Smith, and Alena Naiakshina. In recent years, there's been an increase in research into the way that usability impacts developers. And what all these works have in common is that they show that developers, even good developers, often struggle when it comes to implementing code that is secure. In general, developers rely on resources for their programming that offer them snippets of code that they can copy and paste into their projects. That's something that, if you've ever written even a single line of code, you can probably confirm, but it's also something that's been mentioned by these works. In You Get Where You're Looking For, the authors noted that developers who used Stack-Overflow to copy code often introduced security errors, for example, the use of outdated code. When the developers used official documentation as a coding resource, they performed better in terms of security, but they struggled more overall to produce functional solutions. So it seems we have a problem, right? Either resources are usable and accessible, or they are up to date enough to help produce secure solutions. However, in this work, where developers were asked to store passwords in a database, only those developers who used copy and paste produced any secure solutions at all. So at first glance, this might seem contradictory, but it really just means this. If the code that is accessible and easy to copy-paste is also secure and up-to-date, then the solutions that developers come up with will be secure. So what we wanted to try was to develop a resource that combines the usability aspects of forums like Stack Overflow, such as code that's easy to find and easy to copy-paste, with some of the security aspects of official documentation. So we developed a website, we called it Let's Hash, and we conducted a developer study to validate it. Let's Hash has a few code snippets that are very easy to copy and paste, and they focus on 3 topics surrounding user authentication, which are topics that often cause security concerns. One of them is the storage of passwords in databases, for which passwords need to be hashed with a secure hashing algorithm. Password policies, which should be in line with current best practices, because they are supposed to support the end user in choosing a good, secure password. And 2-factor authentication, which is an important additional layer when it comes to security of user authentication. We also developed a design variation of Let's Hash that contained a UI element that functions similarly to an installation wizard. So this element would ask a few questions up front, for example, what language the developer intends to use for their programming and the level of security they'll need, and then uses the answers to these questions to guide the developer to a piece of code that's as specifically tailored to their needs as possible. So for example, if you were to say you want to use Python to implement password hashing, this wizard would then give you a code snippet that implements the argon2 ID algorithm in Python. So the study we conducted to validate Let's Hash was done with 179 participants that we recruited from freelancer.com. Freelancer is a platform that aims to connect freelance developers with clients who would like to hire them. So that means that our participants are actual professionals who are active in the field. The study itself was made up of 2 parts. At first, the developers had to work on 3 programming tasks, 1 for each topic that's currently present on Let's Hash. And afterwards, in a survey, we asked them a few questions to gain more insights into their workflow, their prior experiences, and the perceived usability of the resources they were using. The participants were split into 3 groups, 2 working with Let's Hash, 1 with the wizard and 1 without it, and a control group. The control group had to work on the same programming tasks as the other two groups, but they did not have a specified resource for their programming. Instead, they were asked to use whatever they would regularly use. Now, looking at these results here, it's clear to see that the groups that had Let's Hash at their disposal performed a lot better in terms of security than the control group. To put this into numbers, developers with Let's Hash were between 5 and 32 times as likely to produce a secure solution when compared to the control group. We also calculated the system usability score for both versions of Let's Hash and found that there was no significant difference between the version with the wizard and the version without it. But as you can see, there was a slight difference in security. The users who used Let's Hash with the wizard were slightly less likely to produce a secure solution, although these differences were not statistically significant. Still, it meant that for now, we have halted development on the wizard, and the version of Let's Hash that's online right now does not have a wizard anymore. Also of interest are the types of errors that participants made when they failed to produce a secure solution. The most common security error was that participants would not use correct randomization with the cryptographic algorithms. That's something that weakens the security of these algorithms considerably. And the second most common error was the use of outdated algorithms, for example, MD5, which has been outdated for many years now and is considered insecure. Especially in the control group, as you can see, we saw this happen a lot. And this again underlines that getting outdated or incorrect information is a very real problem for developers who are looking to implement security-sensitive code. We also elicited some qualitative feedback from the participants who used Let's Hash, and the feedback was in general positive and very constructive. Participants said, for example, that they found Let's Hash to be trustworthy because it's not a forum post. They said that they found it easier to use than other resources they had used in the past, and some even said that they would like to use it again. We would hope that these results inspire more work into resources for programmers that are both usable and up-to-date in security. If you would like to check out our website for yourselves, you can scan the QR code or follow the URL below it. You will note that while in the paper and in this talk I refer to the website as Let's Hash, it is now actually called Let's Auth instead. We made this change to better reflect that the contents of the website are not specifically focused on password hashing, but rather on user authentication in general. Thank you all for your attention. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now or on Slack, where either me or my colleague, Anna Ortloff, will be happy to answer them. Thank you.